Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is the Community Pod, and I am your host, Lester Class. Each and every episode is going to be filled with amazing stories from amazing people. You will hear the different journeys people went through, or are still going through, to be able to do what they love. From the failures to the successes and everything in between. This is a place to get to know the person behind their passion, because people only get to see the successes and not what it took to get there. If this is your first time tuning in, please subscribe and leave a review if you love the content. Now finally, I would love to welcome you to the Community Pod. Okay, we're live. So, like I said, I'm going to do my introduction, and then we're going to be good to go. Cool?
Yeah.
All right. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Community Pod. I'm your host, Sister Class, and I am accompanied by Dylan NYC with Worldwide Illusion. That's his clothing brand. So what's going on, Dylan?
What's going on, man? How you going?
I'm doing all right, bro. I appreciate you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Would you be able to tell the people, by any chance, what it is that you do, or what is the story behind Worldwide Illusion?
So I'm a clothing brand owner. Obviously, my brand name is Worldwide Illusion, and the story behind it is just kind of okay. So I wanted to have my own business. I didn't want to work a regular job or work for somebody. Not saying nothing's wrong with that, but I wanted to work for myself and be able to do my own thing on my own schedule. So I obviously social media is a big thing in 2023. So I seen a lot of different people doing clothing brands and stuff, and I've always been someone that's into fashion and stuff, like to wear different clothes, different sneakers and stuff like that. So I felt like, why not start my own brand? I had a following on Instagram, so I felt like that wouldn't kind of be too hard for me. So I wanted to start that off. I came up with the name Worldwide Illusion is because I've always just like thought of like conspiracy stuff, like what if this, what if that, or like things with the government or like aliens, just like little stuff like that. So that's where the illusion part came in, and then worldwide just came with it because it sounded good, and obviously bring the illusion worldwide to different areas. So it just kind of clicked like that, and then I just went off with that since.
So do you, by any chance, bring in like those conspiracy theories that you may believe in into your brand? Have you had the idea of incorporating designs where it may be about, things such as, I'm not saying this is something that you would do specifically, but the Loch Ness monster or something like that, but like conspiracy theories of these animals, or like things still being alive, or an alien on the tee or alien on the hoodie? Are those things that you want to incorporate when it comes to bringing those conspiracy theories from the illusion?
That's definitely something that I've been thinking about for future drops. So actually, for the drop that I have coming up in the hoodie that I'm wearing right now, it says, worldwide, there will be an illusion behind every reality. So that's kind of where that came from, the aspect of the illusion, and then the eye that's right behind it to kind of resemble that illusion, because like through the eyes is different sparkles and different shit, so you can have different interpretations of what's going on in the eye. So that's kind of where the illusion part came into play. So for future drops, I'm definitely gonna add different stuff. I'm not gonna get too much into it, but definitely gonna add different stuffs, and that kind of inspired my drop that I have right now.
Got you. And where did you, when it comes to the idea, right? Because I feel like I want to know what it is that you feel like describes your brand. Like, what category or what style are you going for?
I would say it's a streetwear style, more so, just because of the aspect of my first drop was mesh shorts, and then now this is kind of like an acid vintage wash hoodie and sweats. But I wouldn't say it's not a regular streetwear like Hellstar or Spider Worldwide, for example.
Yeah.
I feel like this would kind of be different just in the aspect of the material and like the kind of feel. So it's kind of giving off that, like, I wouldn't want to say old school, because I don't really think vintage watch is old school, but you don't really see much streetwear brands using acid wash style hoodies anymore.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's kind of streetwear, but it's kind of blended into like that old school or like Soho-ish type vibe to it.
No, yeah. And I love the fact that you're coming out with this now, because you said that the drop is gonna be in the near future, but it fits perfectly because it is getting colder out. And I feel like just looking at it, and the people that are listening audioly, it's pink. It has the vintage wash, like he said, and it's very vibrant, and it looks comfortable. I'll tell you that. So, what is it that no, not what is it that inspired you, but like, where do you feel like this inspiration stems from?
I feel like it just stems from the fact that I'm a person that's really into fashion and I like to put like different things together.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when I see like different creative stuff. So like let's say I'm walking somewhere and you have like interesting like cuz like you know how people put graffiti all over the place and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So if I see like a weird like design or something like that, I'll take a picture on my phone, save it in my notes and be like, "Hey, what if I added this to that or what if I added that to that?"
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like seeing different figures and different stuff that you see every day that people would just walk by and pass.
Yeah.
If I find it intriguing, I just kind of add little stuff here and there and incorporate it into my own stuff.
So do you design your own clothing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you learned how to do graphic design and things like that?
Yeah, I didn't know before I started. I kind of taught myself through just YouTube and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
With like different like mock-ups and different sites that's best to use and stuff like that. So I got myself an iPad and then I just been designing myself. And then I have somebody that puts design on like an actual like professional digital file,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm the one that's making the actual like design. So like I sketch it
Yeah.
and then I send it to the designer and then he puts it on the actual digital file.
So have you been always good at drawing?
No.
No?
Mm-mm.
This is something that you've been working on over time?
I used to be a horrible drawer.
Yeah? How bad?
Like I only could draw stick figures before.
Okay.
Literally just stick figures. And then I started watching videos on how to draw a hoodie, how to draw that, and then I just been kind of mimicking it ever since.
Got you.
Mhm.
And like, is there any piece of like how do I say? Is there any brand that you look up to in any way?
A brand that I look up to and it's been getting popular as of late, SB Studios.
Okay.
Just for the simple fact that I would watch some of his podcasts. He'd be talking about how a lot of people didn't support him going into this stuff and stuff like that, but he stayed down, he stayed grinding, and then obviously if you know SB Studios, you know how quickly that brand just blew up and stuff. And I feel like his design is not seen anywhere else because like you have a lot of clothing brands now that try to like mimic different brands and stuff, but I feel like his brand is unique and like to his own name and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's a brand that kind of stood out to me and be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's fire.
Got you. So I do want to step back from the clothing brand and just talk about Dylan NYC. So before the clothing brand, what was the idea that Dylan had going forward about what he was going to do?
Okay, so before the clothing brand, I wanted to play ball, but something happened to where I couldn't do that. So then I was just going to school just to go to school. So I was majoring in exercise science to be a physical therapist. But as time went on, I just was getting less interested and less interested in the school stuff. And I'm still in school now, but I just feel like that's not my passion of what I wanted to do. And I didn't just want to go through with it just to go through with it. So I was like, okay, let me find something that I actually want to do and that I'm actually going to enjoy doing for the rest of my life. And that's when the clothing brand just clicked to me.
Got you. So you still are in school
Mm-hmm.
and doing clothing brand as well?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like what people don't realize is when you're doing something like that where you're balancing two things, one thing that you're doing just, I guess, it's kind of that plan B. Even though some people look at it as going to college as that plan A, it's your plan B because your passion is your plan A.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that people don't understand how much work that takes from you because people always judge people based on like the 40-hour weekday. I mean, the 40-hour work week or going to school and then balancing work. But you're going to school and then doing the clothing brand, and who's to say you're not working as well?
I am working too, so I'm
Exactly.
balancing all three.
So you're balancing all three, and all that together is a lot of work. So I want to ask, how do you find that balance?
It's just all about scheduling. So I know what days I have school, and I put it to where I go into school early in the morning, and then I get out, let's say 12 the latest. And then there's certain days where I work, but I wouldn't work till the job I'm now. I wouldn't work till like 5:30.
Okay.
So now I have 12 to 5:30 to do whatever you want. Now most people would go home, chill, take a nap, eat or whatever. But if I know, let's say like now I'm prepared for the drop, I would go home, get my bag, get my camera, whatever, record some videos real quick. Now let's say that takes half an hour, whatever, get that out the way. And I record enough videos to where I have it for the week so that I don't got to go out each day. So I go different places. I go to a nice background or whatever. Or if I'm doing a shoot, I'll plan my shoot for that specific time, and then I'll take care of that, and then I'll go home, and then it's just a repeat every single time.
Gotcha. Do you ever get tired?
All the time.
Yeah. But what is it that keeps you going?
It's just the fact of me knowing that there's somewhere I want to get to be, and I don't want to say that I'm rushing, but I have a timeline of where I want to get it and where I want to be at, and then just having that in the back of my head, and then also just seeing other people my age also doing the same thing, it just kind of motivates me. Like let's say if I am slacking one day, because not everybody's perfect, so if I am slacking one day, it'll like I'm scrolling through TikTok or whatever. I see one video, because you know how like your motivational videos pop up or something like that. I see one video, I'm like, nah, I'm slacking. Let me get up, and then I go do what I gotta do, and then I come back.
Gotcha. And what is one place that you feel like is that helped you when it comes to building your brand and your identity?
I would kind of say, because I have a friend that also has a clothing brand that's kind of popping too. So when I brought that idea to him, he's the one that kind of pushed me to that. So I feel like just having him as like that voice in your ear, yo, your brand is fire, keep going, don't slack. I feel like that just kind of like gives me that extra motivation to just keep pushing when certain times I feel like I'm lazy or whatever.
Gotcha. And when you did mention that there's times where you have downtime or like you are slacking, right? Is there ever times as well that you're in your own head thinking like this isn't gonna work?
Yeah. My first drop this past summer, I had shorts, but I dropped it late. So I didn't do what I wanted to do. And then, but there was a moment in time where I was like, nah, this is a waste of money or whatever. Because a lot of people don't realize a lot of money goes into making the clothes and manufacturing and stuff like that. So if you're not gonna have the money and the time to invest into it, then it probably isn't for you. But because I ended up losing money on my first drop, so I kind of got a little discouraged. But my friend who was in the clothing brand also told me he lost money his first job, but he kept pushing it, and I see where he is now with his brand. So that came and gave me that extra motivation. And just for the fact that you're not always going to succeed with whatever you're trying to accomplish. So I didn't want to let that hinder me. So I'm like, let me keep going.
Yeah, you did mention that when you did do the shorts that you didn't do it at the time that would have benefited you.
Mm-hmm.
So how important is timing when dropping clothing?
It's very important because you're trying to sell it to your client. So you got to sell it to your client or your customer when it's convenient for them. So like, for example, it wouldn't make sense for me to drop shorts in February when it's 20 degrees outside. So you would want to plan your drops ahead. This is why on your downtime, design, because you could have multiple different designs mapped out. Okay, I'm going to do this for this drop. And then after that drop, I already have this one mapped out. So just having that dedication and that plan mapped out ahead of time, that's going to make all your drops just go in seamlessly.
And there's one question I do have is when it comes to you and your clothing and how you run your own clothing brand, when you do a drop, is it pre-order or do you already have it in hand?
I do pre-made,
Okay.
even though I've been told starting out pre-order would be better just because you don't know the demand you're going to get when you're first starting. But I feel like pre-made would be better for me just because I don't want to have my customers waiting 3 weeks to a month to get an item when they ordered it now. And then I don't want, God forbid, something happened with my manufacturer and then now it's delayed an extra month. And now they think that my clothing brand is a scam. And then now that just trickles down. So I just think, okay, when I post my marketing on TikTok or IG, whatever, I see how many people's commenting, how many likes I'm getting, and I just kind of gauge how much I'm ordering off of that. So I just like to do the pre-made so that I could just have it, ship it out, they get it within the week.
Okay. Yeah, because the reason I asked that is because of that. I feel like pre-order also has to do with timing. Because if you drop in February, like hoodies and sweats, and then it doesn't get there until like May, June, it's like we waited mad long. We don't even know who'd wear it anymore. So I do think there's a benefit to pre-order. Like you said, like if you don't know the demand, it'll be like you see how many people so you know how much to order. But pre-made is like I'm taking that risk. I might have some like extra over, or I might sell out and I might have to order more. But there's a benefit to both in my opinion. Because one, the pre-order, like you said, people might think it's a scam. You're taking forever to give me my clothing, and then the pre-made is like, okay, I sold out. Now you can let everybody know that you are ordering more, and people could get it sooner and don't think you're a scam. So it's a bunch of things. I think it has to play with timing. Everything when it comes to a clothing brand has to do with timing. I spoke to a lot of clothing brands and they say the same thing. Like, timing is everything. If you're dropping hoodies in June or hoodies in July, August, it's hot. No one wants to wear a hoodie. But if you drop it in, like if you were to drop a hoodie right now, it's getting colder outside.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to get layer up, because I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, since you enjoy making clothing, do you feel like when it comes to fashion and clothing, what do you think is the best time to style clothing, summer or winter?
For me, winter.
Okay.
Just because you can wear more and match different stuff better. Because in the summer, it's hot, so you're not going to want to wear a lot. You're going to throw on a short, you're going to throw on a shirt, and then that's just pretty much that.
Mm-hmm.
But with the winter, you have so many different stuff. You want to put the sweater on with the jeans, or you want to wear your jacket, or you want to put on your vest, or you want to rock a fire beanie. There's just so many more different outfit combinations you can make in the wintertime.
And I agree on that. I didn't realize that until, let's say, this year. I was like, I have no fits for the winter. Like, I thought I had fits, but I really don't have fits. And then I think that summer was super easy to put a fit on, but it's like there's so much more you can do during the winter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like you said, layering and putting on different outfits, matching different things, throwing another hoodie on top of, on another fire thing you got underneath. You know what I mean? There's a whole bunch of things. Or maybe, I know there's a certain style of hoodie where, like, there may be holes in it, but you're wearing a shirt underneath, so that pops. So there's a bunch of things. I think winter, I agree, it's probably the best time to style things. What is your target audience for your clothing brand?
My target audience would be, so it's a streetwear brand. So anybody that's into, I would say it's kind of like a vintage look to it. So anybody that likes that vintage, or I don't want to say classy, but that vintage rock star type vibe-ish.
Okay.
That's the kind of audience that my clothing brand kind of drifts to. Yeah.
Got you. And what I do want to go and say is, I want to ask is, when you were younger, right, before Worldwide Illusion and everything, was there anything else that inspired you to be creative?
I would kind of say that I would have to go to my pops, just because he would work in a fashion store.
Okay.
So he would have so many different clothes. And then, like, you know how, like, when you're young, your parents dress you and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So he'd have me wearing many different stuff. But he was more of like a business classy type vibe.
Gotcha.
So that's the kind of stuff he would have me in. But as I got older, I kind of like drifted out of that into the more like streetwear type vibe, but still kept that, okay, I know how to like switch it up type stuff. So I think he just kind of instilled the diversity aspect
Gotcha.
into me. Yeah.
So do you ever think about doing like a kind of worldwide illusion business classy kind of vibe with your clothing brand at all?
I feel like down the line, I'll definitely be able to incorporate that. I don't think with the brand that I have now, I don't think that'd be too much of an outreach.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I could definitely find a way to kind of blend that in.
No, and I love when like things, I haven't really seen it translate that well. Not to say that yours wouldn't. I think yours could. I haven't seen someone do it yet. Like, I can see, let's just say, an all over print button down, a worldwide illusion, right? Just a creative, maybe pink, or like just different designs on the tee. I just think that that's coming back now. Like the whole all over prints, the pop out colors, and I think that's what is really stands out kind of in our generation right now when it comes to clothing. It's the fact that we're not afraid to try different things, because it might be weird to you, but it might not be weird to somebody else. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that, with a clothing brand and you and your identity as a clothing brand, there's so much room to grow. Would you agree?
1,000%. And especially in this generation, you have so many different styles that different people wear. You have your classy look, you have your street look, you have your vintage look, you have your goth look, you have your rock star look. and everybody is kind of fitting their own style into their own persona. So
Yeah.
there's so many different avenues that you could go in.
Got you. Who is one person, I guess celebrity wise, that you would like, you dream of wearing your clothing?
If
Not
I
dream
had
of,
to
but
say one, I wouldn't really. I don't know if he's famous, but you know who Quan is?
Quan?
Yeah.
Nah, if you could tell me who he is.
So he's like a fashion influencer slash YouTuber
Okay.
in kind of way. And the reason why I say Quan is just because of the fact that the pics that he posts on his IG, it's like so many different styles. So like one pic could be a goth style, and he'd rock that. And then I'm not really into goth, but I'm seeing it, I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of hard. And then next thing you know, he got on the classy look, and then next thing you know, he got on the street look. So he's kind of like someone that switches it up to fit whatever, I guess, background he's taking the photo in.
Yeah.
So I feel like seeing him, and especially since he's a fashion influencer, I feel like seeing him in my brand, that'll just bring so much more different avenues of
Exactly.
clientele.
And I feel like a lot of the times, creatives, all we need is an opportunity. Especially if we're people who are working so hard and not just doing this for the money. You can see it for, you give me this opportunity and I'm gonna take off. I promise.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like, for anybody like yourself, would you be able to say that if anybody were to give you the opportunity to just wear my brand, I'm telling you that I will not let anybody down?
1,000%. I be telling myself all the time, it just takes one known person to wear your brand, and then it just skyrockets like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like now I'm in a position where I'm grinding right now, so I feel like seeing my brand getting more traction, that is only gonna give me more incentive to go even harder.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if that one thing could just pop off, it's just to the roof, to the limit
Gotcha.
after that.
Nah, yeah, and like I said, all it takes is one opportunity. And just to continue on, right? Again, before the clothing brand, you said that you were in basketball. We spoke off camera that you had an injury and things happen. What did that kind of setback in that moment make you feel?
It was just more of the aspect of, okay, what am I going to do now? Cause like growing up, you're a kid, you think about one thing, you're just set on that, you're just focusing on that. So then now when that's taken away and you can no longer do that, it's okay, like, oh, okay, what am I going to do now? And then it happened around a time where you're going into college. So it's like, oh, okay, now I really got to think about, okay, what am I going to do now? Especially since, you got to pick a major and everything like that. So it just kind of like allowed my life to flash before my eyes and just kind of like, okay, now I really got to think. What am I going to do now? What am I going to do now?
And where did you get that mindset from? And why is it important to have a mindset like that?
I just got that mindset of, I guess it's just from seeing my family, like different members work so hard.
Mm-hmm.
And then, because like, I don't come from a rich family. So seeing everybody work so hard and everybody grind, and then like you live like, for example, paycheck to paycheck or whatever. It's like I want that mentality of grinding so hard, but I don't want that lifestyle. I don't want to have to worry about that. So I'm thinking to myself, what can I do to where I don't got to worry about that and I don't got to be like that? So now I can help myself, and then down the line, I can also help them.
Mm-hmm.
So I seen the clothing brand, and I seen how much money you can make off of it and how you can grow and grow and grow. And then, okay, well, I'm going to lock into this. I'm going to do this. So that way I could help myself and then help them later down the line.
And I love that you say that's what caused that mindset, because I feel like I wasn't completely expecting the answer that I received when you said that when you had that setback of your injury, it was automatically, what am I going to do now? So it was like not dwelling on the situation so too much where it, what's it called? I guess that kind of feeling takes over and there is no getting back up. You automatically like, what am I doing now? Like, what's going to happen next? And, you went to school, you're going to school, and you're also doing the clothing brand, but your clothing brand is the main focus, where I don't want to live paycheck to paycheck, and I want to be able to create a life for myself, the one that I enjoy, and one that I'm going to be able to take care of my family one day. Why is it so important to you to take care of your family?
I just feel like growing up in this society and as a man, I just feel like I don't know, it's just something in you where you just feel that obligation to want to provide. And just seeing like my family and my mom and stuff work so hard, I don't want them to have to work so hard for the rest of their life. So if I can show my gratitude and repay them back by helping them out when I'm able to, so that they don't gotta work no more and they can just live the rest of their life peacefully after doing so much for so long, I feel like I owe them that to be able to do that for them.
Got you. And also, for what people don't know, my guy Dylan NYC, he's a youngin, and he's working his ass off to do what you're doing. And I think it's amazing that you have this mentality now as a young, as a young adult. And I just think it's, like I said, it's amazing, because I also think it has to do with where you came from, because I feel like when you grow up in a society or in a community where you kind of have to grow up young and understand that, like you said, I don't live in a rich community. I'm not getting I have to work for the things that I want. And when you come from an area where it's kind of there for you, like you get in the things that you want, you're given it, like you don't have to do nothing, just be, everything is handed to you. That's not the life that you lived. And when you live a life of just clawing and grinding and just doing everything you can to just succeed, and everybody's definition of success is different, but you're clawing and you're crawling and you're working your ass up to get there, like, I do think it stems from where you come from. So to just put this all together, like, do you think that you'd be where you are if it weren't for where you grew up?
I don't think so, because of the fact that where I grew up caused me to have the mentality that I have. And not even just from my own self, just seeing everybody that I know around the area or whatever. I want to be able to be in a position where I'm financially able to do this and do this without worrying about, am I going to have money for this? Am I going to have money for that? I want to just be at peace knowing I can do what I want when I want on my own time and not have to worry about anybody else.
Exactly. So what is it about your brand, or maybe about you and your character, that makes you stand out from the rest?
I would just say I would just say how authentic I am, just from the aspect of that you have so many different clothing brands who try to mimic different brands and stuff. Like Hellstar and Spider blew up, and I've been seeing so many brands, and then they'll drop a hoodie, and then it's the exact same design as them, but then they just put their name over it. And I'm thinking to myself, what's gonna make a customer buy that when they could just buy the real one that's popping for around the same price? So I feel like just being authentic with my own brand, and I also feel like the story behind it, because I feel like the story is gonna drive the clientele to your product more if they actually know the message that you're trying to send through your brand. So I feel like just combining the story with being how authentic my brand is, I just feel like you're not really going to find that in much other brands.
Got you. And is there any place that you want to travel to have your brand go across, even maybe outside the United States, or maybe it's inside the United States? Where's one place that you want to go to expand your brand?
I'd probably say the UK.
UK?
Yeah.
Because I know that they got a little fashion out there too. So why do you think the UK? Would you like to go to the UK?
I would say the UK just for simple of, like how you said, they have their own fashion, and just to get a different point of view on how some people outside the US style their own fashion. So now let's say I have my brand popping over there. Now I could take something from over there, bring it back to the US, and then now my brand is completely different from the rest, because now it's a combination of styles from here, styles from there, styles from there. So I feel like just having like a whole new different aspect from a different place outside of the United States, I feel like that just only can help your own creativity.
Exactly. And when you see, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like when you are able to, I feel like exploring different cultures or different places, you can get a little bit of inspiration from everywhere. Would you say that? Is there, other than the UK, right? Is there any other place?
I'd probably say Dubai.
Dubai? Why Dubai?
I don't know. That's always been one of the places of, like, if someone asks you, where do you want to visit? I just feel like it's Dubai, just of the I feel like just because the aesthetic of it,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's just like such a beautiful place, and I feel like such a beautiful place like that has to have great fashion.
Got you.
So I feel like if my brand were to expand over to Dubai, I feel like again that's just a whole new audience.
Got you. Well, I do know that I do have listeners in the United Kingdom. So if you want to go check out Worldwide Illusion, go ahead because he would love for customers all the way in the UK. Dubai, I don't know so much, but I always like to plug because I know that there's listeners from all around the world. I have listeners recently from Turks and Caicos, Ethiopia, Aruba. I get a lot of different places around the world, so I just wanted to shout y'all out for the one time. But yeah, like I think that when you're able to communicate and people can feel what you're saying from a different place in the world, you're doing the right thing. So if your clothing brand, if there's one thing people from this podcast can take away from your clothing brand, what would it be?
I would just say, if you could take one thing away, I would just say that it's different, just from the aspect of the message behind it. So you could even translate it to your own grind or your own goal of what you having on. So worldwide illusion, the illusion of, let's say for example, what society tries to put on you. Oh, you can only do this, or you can only do that. Fight that illusion, fight that reality, create your own reality. So I feel like it just creates the message of empowerment, creating your own path, creating your own way. So I feel like with my brand, if you're wearing my brand, that's just only inhibiting and just empowering the message you want to create yourself.
What's one thing that you feel like somebody who is trying to get into the field that you're going in or that you're in, what is one thing that you would tell them or like a heads up?
One thing I would tell them is just be yourself. If you like something and you want to go into a certain avenue and you're not too sure if other people are going to like it, just be yourself, because at the end of the day, your own brand is going to be a representation of you. So you have to be creative enough in your own aspect to draw the crowd you want to draw.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had to give them a heads up, I'd probably just say whatever down days you have, don't let that discourage you. Because let's say you have a job, you're going to have down days where you have 0 sales that day. And that's probably going to want to discourage you to not drop anymore. But keep pushing, because you could have zero sales one day, and then the next day you have 100 sales. So it's just like staying consistent and keeping yourself self-motivated. I feel like that's just going to help you grow and grow and grow even more.
Got you. And you also mentioned that with the one thing that you feel like separates you is your authenticity, right? How important is it to be authentic?
It's extremely important, especially in the generation we're in now with social media, and you have so many different people trying to get into clothing and stuff like that. Your own authenticity is going to separate you from the rest, because a clientele is going to be like, why am I buying this brand instead of this brand? And then you see, oh, okay, this one's representing this one's different from this one. I've never seen this one before. Now I'm intrigued. So I feel like just being authentic to yourself and your own brand, that's just going to make you stand out from the desaturated brands that's all over the world.
And I do want to step back and just talk about you outside of the brand, right? What is one key factor or a word that you go by, which is what made you who you are?
One key word or factor, I would probably just say self-motivated, from the aspect of, okay, so I'm into basketball a lot. So Kobe Bryant, rest his soul, whatever, before he died, he always, my mentality, the message of grind, 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 and you see what he was able to accomplish. So just having that kind of like mentor or idol or whatever, that just kind of like instills into your own self, oh, okay, if I can apply his message to my own goal, then I could achieve what he achieved in my own aspect. So I feel like just seeing different people grind and motivate that you kind of look up to, it just makes you want to do the same.
Got you. What I do want to ask is a little bit personal about the brand, right? I see that on the shorts as well as the clothing that you have on currently, that both of them had an eye.
Mm-hmm.
What does the eye mean to you?
I would say the eye would represent the illusion aspect of it. Because when you think of an illusion, most people think of, let's say, an eye or Like, for example, on the TV, how you have the swirly thing with the black and it's just spinning and spinning and spinning. So I feel like the eye would kind of represent that, and it also stand out from the rest. So see how you notice the eye on both. I feel like other people's gonna notice the eye too, and then that just brings more. That just makes the illusion part of it just stand out even more.
Gotcha. So we are getting close to the end. I know that it goes by pretty quickly. So I'm going to be asking you some ending questions, but before I do, there's one thing that I do want to ask you. What makes you proud of yourself?
What makes me proud of myself is just the fact of how committed I am to achieving what I want to achieve and not letting nothing get in my way. Because I feel like a lot of people have a goal, but then they don't think it's realistic in their point of view, and they're just going to stop and they're just going to be complacent in what they're doing. But on the other hand, for me, I feel like I'm determined enough to know I can't be complacent just because of the simple fact that I want to get to where I want to get to by the time I want to get to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like me knowing that and me knowing that I have to grind, I have to work, I have to do this, I have to do that, I feel like that just makes me more proud of myself.
Got you. So I am going to go into the ending questions. Before I do, I want to say a bit of a praise to Worldwide Illusion because I have checked out your brand. Ethan told me about it. For those that don't know Ethan is my cousin. But I do want you to know that I've checked out your brand and I like what you're doing. I like the fact that you haven't stopped and you're motivated to doing it. Because one thing, like you said, is a lot of people, they lose that motivation throughout this entire process. You've been doing this for less than a year, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I promise you, once you hit that year mark, it's still not enough. Just keep grinding, keep doing what you're doing, keep advancing, keep doing your research on clothing. Continue to be what you said is authentic because you're doing great. But just to go into the ending questions, what is it that wakes you up every morning, maybe even keeps you up at night to do what you're doing?
I would say just the idea of me, let's say 10 years down the line, having to fight for money or paycheck to paycheck. Just that idea of me down the line not having I don't want to say successful life, but not having a life that I dreamed of. I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me. So me being able to wake up and grow day by day, to grow closer inch by inch to get to where I want to get to, I just feel like that's better because a lot of people don't realize that you're not going to get to where you want to get to. You may not get what you want to get to the time someone else does, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to get to it. Someone might get to it in a year. You might get to it in 5 years, but you just got to stay consistent.
Exactly. I do want to ask a question that is not one of my ending questions. What does it feel like when your design comes to life?
It's just like a I don't know, not a burning feeling, but it's just kind of like self-gratitude because you draw something that you like. So when you see it come to life, it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, that's fire. So I feel like it's just kind of like let's say when you learn how to do something for the first time and then you do it again and then it's good. So it's just like that self-gratitude, that happiness that, oh, I made this and it looks good.
Got you. So back to the ending questions. This is a new one that I've started to implement because of everything that's going on around the world, right? What do you feel like is one thing that the world needs to hear?
I feel like one thing that the world needs to hear is just be yourself and don't let someone change you because of how they treated you or how they acted towards you. Be yourself and then stay yourself no matter what someone does to you.
Okay.
Pretty much.
What is the message that you would give to your future self?
A message I would give to my future self would just be, let's say, stay consistent. Stay consistent because I feel like I'm consistent now, but I don't know what's going to happen 10 years from now. I may lose motivation or I may gain motivation or whatever. Just stay consistent because even if I'm successful 10 years down the line, I might get complacent or whatever. So I would just say stay consistent, stay grounded.
Gotcha. Last but not least, what do you want the world to know about Dylan NYC with Worldwide Illusion?
I just want y'all to know that I'm an upcoming brand. I'm going to be around for a long time. I don't plan on going nowhere. And I plan on bringing my message of creating your own path and creating your own reality to everyone in the world, and I hope that you support.
Got you. So that is the end of the podcast. I just want to say, Dylan, I appreciate you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, bro. But now the camera's now all yours. If there's anything that you want to say, anything at all, this is your time.
I just want to let y'all know that I'm dropping these hoodies right here. I'm dropping them on the 16th. I believe that's a Wednesday. I'm dropping it on the 16th. And
the 16th of what?
November.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So basically this upcoming week, I'm dropping it on the 16th. If you want, they're going to be $55. I'm going to be putting it on my website. I'm going to have them available on TikTok and IG if you want to cop up.
Got you. Other than that, this is the end of the pod, Dylan. Thank you for being here. I'm going to go ahead and do my outro. So this is the Community Pod. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, leave a like, comment your favorite part, put on post notifications so you never miss a future episode. If you listen to audio platforms, I do want to say, I know that there's things around the world that's going on, and I just want to say that I appreciate every single one of you. All of your lives matter, and I love each and every one of you who listen in every week. Thank you so much. But other than that, audio platforms, please leave a review. It allows more people to find the podcast. I also like what you have to say about the podcast. Other than that, if you're new here, welcome to the Community Pod, and we are out. Peace.